Hi guys, today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how our tastes change over time and how we have a good measure of control over that and how to use that control to feed ourselves healthy foods without having to feel like we're depriving ourselves. So the number one thing I just wanted to say is keep in mind that your tastes do change and you have the power to change them. Now, I'm not saying that I am ever going to like blue cheese. I really sincerely don't think I ever will. But I can decide if I needed the benefits of blue cheese. There are other foods that have the same benefits as blue cheese, and I could find those foods that I don't hate, and I could learn to love those foods. So let me start out by saying, number one, we often grow to love foods that we didn't like at first. So for me, that would be sushi. First time I tried it, honestly, I didn't like it. The texture really turned me off. It was really weird to me. And now I love sushi, but it took a couple of tries for me to really learn to love sushi. I know it's a very common thing for people to not like alcohol when they first taste it. It's very common when people smoke. The first time they smoke, they don't like the way it tastes. Now, of course, these two things are not necessarily healthy things to practice in excess, like maybe vegetables would be. But I want you to keep in mind that there are certain things that we enjoy and even crave that actually don't taste good for the first time that we try them. And then I want to get a little bit more into how food can be an addiction, very similar to alcohol and cigarettes. When you first taste alcohol, it's the first time I ever tasted alcohol, I didn't like how it tasted at all. I thought it was gross. And I think that's a pretty common thing. Most people try it to be cool, or maybe because they want to relax, but it's not because it actually tastes delicious. And it's the same thing with cigarettes. I've never smoked cigarettes, but from what I've heard, they taste really bad when you first try them. But your body grows to like how alcohol and cigarettes make it feel, and so it sends you signals to give it more of that, whatever that is, whether it's nicotine or alcohol or whatever it is. Your body likes the way that those things are making it feel. It's not that your body likes how it tastes. So I want you to think of vegetables in a very similar way, except you can eat vegetables in excess and it not be bad for you. I'm sure that you could eat too many vegetables and it could probably give you diarrhea. It might even mess up your colon a little bit if you were only eating super high fiber vegetables, and I literally mean only, okay? Because you need fats and other things to keep your digestive system healthy. But most normal people are not going to do that. So I want you to think about vegetables in this way. And how do I feel when I eat broccoli? How do I feel when I eat green beans? How do I feel when I eat spinach? And how can I kind of make myself addicted to that good feeling, that healthy, vibrant feeling I get from eating healthy foods? So it's kind of taking the natural propensity of us as humans to get addicted to things, but moving it in a good direction. It's the same thing with exercise. Think that's really why I exercise every day, is not necessarily because it keeps me at a healthy weight. It's not really even that it helps me be strong and lifts heavy things, so much as really what makes me do it every single day is how it makes me feel physically and mentally. Really makes me feel so much more mentally clear, and it helps me have a better mood. It makes me feel more balanced with my hormone balance, which is a real thing and actually balances your hormones. So I want you to be thinking about vegetables and drinking water and eating good proteins and good fats and good carbs. I want you to think of these healthy foods in the similar way that we think of alcohol and cigarettes, except that they're healthy, and that how does it make me feel? Not so much how it tastes. Because often when it comes to our meals, that's how we approach it, is how it tastes, as opposed to how's it gonna make me feel? Because that feeling is going to last a lot longer, and the end results of those feelings are going to last a lot longer than the initial taste of food. So I'm gonna get a little bit deeper into this now. When it comes to eating healthy foods, it's really important that you eat vegetables, but you have to find the vegetables that actually make you feel energized and feel good. So for instance, now I take this with a grain of salt because I have a lot of gut issues, but eating raw spinach actually makes me feel really nauseous every time I eat it. Eating avocado makes me feel nauseous every time I eat it, and it's because they're high in histamines, which aren't actually in and of themselves bad for you, but some people have intolerances to them, just like lactose and other things. So if I cook spinach, it makes me feel great. I feel awesome. It makes me feel energized, and I know that it's giving me the nutrients that I need. And actually, cooking spinach releases nutrients, more nutrients than if you eat it raw. So I found that eating raw spinach actually makes me feel really bad. So I'm not going to force myself to eat raw spinach just because a lot of healthy people are eating it, or I'm told that it's healthy, which it is. But just because something is healthy doesn't mean you should eat it. You need to listen to your body and find foods that make you feel really good, that give you good energy, because if they make you feel nauseous, if they make you feel sluggish, often that can be a sign that you might have an allergy to that food. So for instance, I have an intolerance to histamines. It's very complicated, but it just comes down to it that I have an intolerance to it. My body doesn't like it, and it actually can cause inflammation in my body. So it's not good for me to eat raw spinach, because even in the long run, it can cause me to have more inflammation than if I cooked it. So the same thing with you. That's what I want you to do. Listen to your body, and if a food is making you feel nauseous or sluggish, maybe don't eat it, or switch up how you're eating it, i.e. cook it or eat it raw, as opposed to vice versa. I also just wanted to say that number 3, sorry, I was trying to find, these are my notes, okay? I'm not organized when it comes to notes. I need to become more organized, but I'm still working on that. But number 3, when it comes to choosing healthy foods and foods that make you feel good, make sure that you don't try to force yourself to eat foods that you hate. So like I was saying before with blue cheese, I'm not going to force myself to eat blue cheese just because it might have some health benefits. Now, number 1, I'm not going to force myself to do it because I know I have a dairy intolerance, so it wouldn't be healthy for me to do anyway because it causes inflammation in my body. But it's also a food that I really don't like the taste of. I'm trying to think of another food that I don't really like the taste of. Jackfruit. Do not like it. Spaghetti squash, the texture really turns me off. I'm not going to force myself to eat those foods because I know already that I don't like them. But there are so many other healthy foods that have the same benefits that I could eat instead. I love yellow squash. I love zucchini. So instead of spaghetti squash, I can just eat zucchini or yellow squash. You know, if I was wanting to eat blue cheese for the proteins or maybe for the probiotics, instead I could just eat yogurt, right? So don't force yourself to eat foods you hate, but often when it comes to learning to eat healthy, you're gonna have to eat foods that you just don't hate. So maybe you don't particularly like it, maybe it's not your favorite food. Let's be real here, spaghetti squash is not spaghetti. It is not pasta. It does not taste the same. But let's say that, unlike me, you don't hate spaghetti squash. Maybe give it a try. I bet you after 3 or 4 times of eating it, you're gonna really enjoy it because your body's tastes change. We were made that way so we don't starve to death. Because if we just were born hating a certain group of foods, well, what happens if you are born into a country that basically only eats rice and fish, but you are born hating rice and fish? You're gonna starve to death and die. And there are entire countries who that is the basis of their food pyramid, is rice and fish. So the thing is God did not make us born to starve to death. He made us to survive. So our tastes will change to love what is around us and what we are feeding ourselves. So in review, I would like to say that number 1, we often don't love foods the first time we try them. So just because you don't like a food the first time you try it, give it another try, and remember that our tastes change. So let that mental image, that mental picture be in your mind when you're trying a food and you don't particularly like it. Remember that if it has a lot of health benefits, maybe you should try it again and see if your taste can change. Number 2, like alcohol and cigarettes and other addictive things, remember that our bodies have the ability to like something for the way that it makes us feel, and our tastes change to crave those things that actually can even taste terrible at first. So why couldn't your body change to love vegetables? Vegetables make us feel really good in the moment, and in the future, they build healthy bodies for us in the future. So I want you to think of making your body addicted to vegetables. And then number 3, don't force yourself to eat foods that you hate. Just start with foods that you don't hate and try to change your tastes to that. and then maybe you can move on to foods that you know are really good for you, but you really don't like the taste, and then you can kind of work this process as you go along. So I hope that this video helped you to remember that tastes change. You have so much more control over what you eat than you're giving yourself credit for. And I'm getting really distracted by these squirrels. I live in basically like a forest, and these squirrels are just like chasing each other all around me. So sorry if I'm distracted. That's why. When in doubt, blame it on the squirrels. I hope you guys are having a great day. Remember to stay disciplined, stay strong, and be kind. And you have so much more control over your life than you're giving yourself credit for.